Okay. Hello, Shai. Good morning, and how are you?
Hi, good morning. Thank you.
I'm so glad to meet you. I was really waiting for it, looking forward for that meeting, and I think also the audience is going to be highly impressed by what you're doing, and I think more than that, even by your vision and your sources of inspiration. So I just want to say, a very, very short introduction because I want you to, introduce yourself to our audience. And this is Shai Senior, and he created Paleta, and he's also going to explain for us what's the name of it. And I prefer that you will share your vision. But first of all, tell us who you are in few words, so just, brief introduction about who you are as a person. Besides the fact that I think you're beautiful. So there you go.
I'm Shai, 30 years old. I'm living in Tel Aviv for the moment. I grew up worldwide. When I was 4, we moved to Papua New Guinea. I've been there for 4 years. Afterwards, we came back to Israel. And after my bar mitzvah, we went again to Guatemala.
Wow.
During all my life, I've seen different cultures, different people, different races. And that was just an amazing childhood and teenage time. When I was 17, we came back to Israel in order to get into the military service. And I went to a unit that specializes in unmanned vehicles, or in other words, drones. And at that time, that was something that really interested me. It actually merges both field operations, but also technology and innovation. So I felt that that's my field, and that's what I would like to do. 3 years I served in that unit. And right after I finished my military service, drones was so rare and new, and someone with the knowledge, of course. Suddenly...
Can you close it, perhaps? Can you shut down the cell phone? Sorry, yeah.
The computer ringed because...
it's the computer, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
I didn't think that I should mute my computer during a call.
No. Okay, and then?
And then after 3 years, I finished my military service. I've been called by a company that was basically the first in Israel to develop drones and sell existing ones. And that's where I started my career, based on all what I've shared before of my trips in the world. I had the languages, I had the knowledge in a very niche category of technology. And I found myself from age 21 to 26, traveling around the world and consulting the different governments and big corporations about how unmanned vehicles could be part of what they're doing, help them solve local, national problems. And in 2017, I had a hand surgery. During my military service, I've got injured in my right arm. It seemed like something very simple. And for 4 years, I was suffering from pain, but I was on the good track, and my career was going to the right direction. And it was bothering me, but in 2017, I couldn't anymore. Like I was visiting a very cold country, and I felt like all my bones are freezing, and my hand is not useful in such situation. And me, together with the doctors, decided to go through a surgery. when I wake up from the surgery, I figure out that my right arm is kind of paralyzed, which I didn't expect it to happen after before the surgery. And at that point, it's something that I remember that I felt that somehow I lost my independence. And when it was the first time that I felt it, that I had to dress up, like to change from the clothes of the hospital to my personal clothing, and I was not able to do it alone. That's where there was kind of a switch in my life. So, as I mentioned, my area of work was with people that have a very specific dress code, who would receive an invitation to a meeting, and how we should dress like. And I really felt uncomfortable in the clothes that I was expected to wear. And at a certain point, I thought, okay, I'm a source of knowledge. People will understand if I would dress differently. At the end, I'm coming to share with them what I know, and they will benefit from that. But I really felt that there was a difference in the acceptance or disacceptance of them towards me. And I was judged differently since I was not wearing the same clothes like everyone else in the room. And that was something that led me to start to read and learn about the relation of psychology of fashion, fashion or clothing in ancient cultures and what it meant. And I was very interested in that topic. And I remember returning to the rehabilitation center in Sheba Hospital here in Israel. There was a moment that I looked at few individuals just wearing what they feel comfortable with. And it connected all the dots of what I've read in the stories and in the books about the gap existing between people with disabilities and the rest of society. Because if we're not able to wear the same clothes in a conversation, and I'm not talking about what I choose to wear and what you choose to wear, so we are not starting from the same start point. So we can reflect it to work, and then a person in a wheelchair who will not be dressed like the person that is interviewing would start from a different beginning point, and a blind person that is not independent to choose her clothes will not be able probably to arrive to the interview, and so and so. And I've decided that I put aside my previous career of very innovative technology and flying things, because there are things that are much more important, basic, or the basis of our lives. Because as I see it, if you have a roof, food in your fridge, the next thing is to have clothes that fit you so you could go out and buy some stuff, work, be in social events. That's the importance of...
How old were you then? 25?
I was 25, yes.
And how long was it after this, the operation that went the wrong way?
Something like 3 months after the
surgery, so quick. Already... Wow.
Yeah.
I hope it's okay to ask, but I mean, it's not reversible. I mean, the damage is so severe that there is no option to reverse. I mean, the damage to your... If it's okay that I'm asking, if it's too personal, tell me.
I'm not in so bad situation, you know. It's
no, I'm saying, but yeah. Can
it's
you
all
use
compared to
your
others,
arm
but
now at all or not?
I feel that I have some limitation, and I think that from my experience, when it's not visible, the disability, it's sometimes harder than something that is visual.
Oh, interesting. Why do you say that?
Because my both hands look the same. So if you look at me, you don't see that I have anything special. Now lately, I have like a new armband that I would wear, so then when people shake my hands, it don't hurt too much. But that's something that was developed lately with the Rafael company as part of Restart Foundation activity to return people that have got injured in the military service to their life. And before that, I was just try to not get into this situation that I see that someone is going to shake my hand strongly before a meeting, and then during all the meeting, I will be focused on my hand. So what I have is like a nerval pain after certain movements or angles that I get to with my arm. And that also relates to dressing up, because in different clothes, our hand needs to go in different angles. When we don't think about it and it just happens consequently, you know, every morning we just put the button shirt and get into the blazer or jacket. So we don't have these movements in mind. But when you have limited motoric limitations, so you start feeling and understanding each one of these moves. And I can say that it's a progress. Like, I have to train all the time, and I've tried all different kinds of exercises to see what makes my hands stronger. So the difference between right and left won't grow too much. And I keep bringing back activities to my right arm, because the easiest for our brain is to stop doing it with the right arm, and then that means that the brain is lazier. You can do the activities only with the left, and probably tennis player I will not be when I'll be old.
Not yet. Let's be optimistic. Not yet.
But there are other things that I can do.
Okay. So, and can you drive? Which is
yes,
very
of course.
important. Okay, I'm just asking because this is very, I think 20% of the United States population can't drive, because of, physical limitation. So you're sitting in, so you're thinking about it, you're 3 months, after the operation, you get to the notion that you have a calling, if I may say, if it's not too religious, but I'm meaning you have a calling and you understand you need to do something more important than just enjoy your work in technology and in disruptive innovation and so forth. So first of all, what are the first steps that you're taking, and also what are the reaction from your family, your close friends, your colleagues at work? I mean, how do they relate to all of this? And please, I put 2 questions. You can answer either of them or one after the other, whatever you feel like.
So in that time that I decided to start Palta, I'm still in the rehabilitation center, visiting for physiotherapies and so.
Yeah.
And I brought some button shirts to hack them, because there was a sewing machine in the rehabilitation center.
Wow.
And I said, okay, I want my button shirt to look like a button shirt, but I'm not really going to close the buttons. So I will put something behind it that would be easier for me to close the shirt, but it would look like a button shirt. And when I was doing it,
you know how to sew. Did you learn how? Wow. You didn't know before that.
I learned it during the army.
During the army, okay. Okay, and then?
Which is a very important skill that we should all learn someone in our lives. Would solve a lot of problems.
It seems so, yeah. Okay, so then?
Some people saw me working on the sewing machine and doing these alterations, and they've started saying, oh, I would feel better if I would have pants that have this. Or
really?
I need this thing for my jacket. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I thought that I'm the only one with that problem.
Wow.
And now
so
I'm
it's
getting
like you opened the shop. You opened the shop in a sense. I mean, you were giving service to the other people without even noticing that.
Exactly. Like I'm getting a feedback from them that, okay, there's a need.
Wow.
But as I've learned always that I need a strong feedback from the surrounding about something in order to decide that that's what I want to do. I started creating questionnaires in few languages and sending them for people around the world.
Oh. And everything is happening in such a short time. I mean, may I say that, if I may say, that what you really did, which is astonishing in my eyes, is that you took this deep sense of loss and grieving, because you're a young man, you know, and you transform it into a calling and to a call for action. It's amazing. How come? I mean, what was yours? It's such an, it's so unusual. It's so remarkable. How did you find the emotional strength to do that? And who was your source of inspiration? I mean, it seems like it didn't take, you know, usually it may take people years. And for you, it was, you know, like you got it, you saw the light, and you transform your grieving into action. How come? If I'm asking two personal questions, please let me know, which is such an amazing.
I could maybe tell that at that point, during the time that I'm sending those questionnaires to people all around the world and receiving hundreds of responses every week, which after 6 weeks we had 1,000 problems, and I felt like, okay, I poked the bear. Now there's no way back. I have to do it. And what I felt from those questionnaires, plus what I've seen online, and I said, that's not me. You know, sometimes people think that if you get injured, so your style changes to an injured person's style, which doesn't exist. But if you make an accident and you're in a wheelchair, you still have your previous style, and you will still like to wear what you used to wear before. And not providing this opportunity just makes the physical and the mental rehabilitation process harder for a person, because from one side he said, you're okay, you can go back to your life, you can be what you've been before, and then that's not true. I cannot wear what I was wearing before, I cannot ride the bicycles that I used to before, etc., etc. And I was looking at the internet and I saw that 98% of the brands are not offering anything that fits me or any other disability that I know about. And even the ones that are doing it kind of forgot that it needs to be fashionable. You know, they were so much into functionality and how would it work and how would you sit on it and what's the angle and so and so. But then it doesn't look good and it's pricey.
May I say, what you're saying is that in a sense that first of all, it seems that you didn't find anyone who is doing the same things. I'm sure because you're an outgoing person and you like people, it seems very much, and it seems that you have a very, very strong community, you know, and friendship, you know, which is totally entangled in your life. So probably you were looking for other people that may be doing the same thing, and you didn't find anyone who is doing it. So you made the decision to take it upon yourself and to do that?
It's not exact. There are
okay, so can you tell us
that were doing it back then. Tommy Hilfiger was getting into the game with their adaptive collection, but
no, I'm talking about social entrepreneur.
Oh, social entrepreneur, I didn't have anyone around me.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like you're alone on an island.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I felt, you know, I can say that I was in that situation like when we were 16, 17 years old in Israel, and there are people that know what they want to do in the army. They have very clear mind that they want to be pilots. And I remember myself as a teenager saying, how do you really know that that's what you want to do? Like, you're going to sign half of the time that you're alive to serve in one same place, and you haven't been there even for a second. And people are so minded to it. And I felt that now I'm in the situation that I can understand these people. I have a source of inspiration, a problem that I want to solve, and a vision that...
That's amazing.
There's no negativity in it. There's no one losing.
No.
There's a very high business opportunity. Even back then, you know, looking at the numbers, I said, like, there's so many people that are able to pay for the brands that will do clothes for people with disabilities. How can it be that Tommy Hilfiger is the only one that is looking towards such community? Yeah. And it's so wide as well. Like, you don't want to do things that are different in their physical design. So change the shopping experience for the 260 million blind people that we have around the world. It's also a number.
Wow. So what was so first, can you tell us about the name? What's the meaning of the name? Because it's based on Hebrew letters and Hebrew meaning. Can you explain it to what does it stand for?
Yeah, so that's an acronym for act for the other in the Hebrew language.
Can you say what each word, yeah.
Palta means pa'al is to act.
Okay.
Letovat is for the other, or letovat acher is for the other.
Okay.
And that's what Palta makes it for. I can say that it really connects to that same moment that I was in the situation that I decided to do it. You know, today I can say that we're all different and we're all the other.
Yeah. But with the other options, or
other one.
Okay, we are all the same, and we are all, one of my teacher, Tiffany Vora, she's also a colleague. She keeps saying that, we are 99.9 the same, genetic material, and the fact that we make a decision to look at someone else as different, and even as I would say a danger. It's going beyond being different. Is just literally our inability to accept what is different, what is would say foreign to us, I would say in some senses. So, and what is interesting that you were on both sides. And may I ask, before that, did you ever think about this problem and people with this? I want to talk with you about disabilities, but people who are different. Did you ever before that ever thought about it, or was it? Did you ever think about it, or was this is the first time that you got the deep sense of how difference is being created and what implication it might have?
I did meet people with disabilities. I was working with kids with disabilities when I was in the Scouts.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
But I never thought about the clothes because, at the end, someone that is not independent to wear, probably there's someone in his house that would help him dress. So I would see the end result and not the person struggling with the shirt or with the pants. or having a hard time to dress up standing, which are all types of situations that people today still deal with because they just want to dress like everyone else around them. And it's also something psychological that we're going through. At the end, the meaning of fashion in our lives sometimes way farther than the comfort that we will get by wearing this type of textile, but to look like people in the area that we are at, because otherwise we will become that black shirt person from the office and not a personality with attitude, needs and goals.
Meaning, in a sense, what you're saying is our clothes defines us socially in the eyes of the others, with the eyes of the beholders. Okay, so okay, now let's go. I want to understand the practical point. So you got this idea, you're sitting in the, where is it, at home or in the rehabilitation center, and you make a decision. What are the first steps that you do? I mean, you have a vision, you have this questionnaires, you have 1,000 problems, you know that you want to solve them, you have the vision. So, okay, but you know, there are many people who have wonderful visions and wonderful ideas, but they never being, you know, reincarnated into real, you know, any kind of, you know, form of actions or organization. So how did you do it? Tell us.
So at that point, I to be honest, I felt like I want to make my own brand.
Really? Oh, interesting. Okay. Why was that?
I started talking with companies in where I've been, and I felt a lot of rejection that they would give me all different types of excuses. Oh, no, we already ordered the clothes for the next year. That's not our target market. We're not doing it that way. That our shop is oriented to a different group. And I said, okay, if it won't work in partnership, which I was trying to start from, it means that I should be the Zara of people with disabilities. And I didn't have experience in manufacturing, but I knew how to sew. So I knew what to ask from the people that would make it for us. At that stage also, my co-founder joins me, Nathaniel Yehuda Levi. He was a very known social activist here in Israel.
What do you mean he was, if I may ask? I know we talked about it.
He passed away 1 month ago. He was born with muscular dystrophy, and after a strong pneumonia, he didn't survive. So the past 30 days were very hard, sentimental, and I'm sure that he will be in every step and wherever Palta continues to grow, his legacy would be part of it.
Soul now. He's a part of your soul and your mind. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry. We talked about it, but yes, it's. So how did you meet?
So there's a mutual friend that told me when I shared with my friend what are my complications in the process, and that's taking us back to my invisible disability.
Yeah.
He told me it will be hard for you to come as a person that looks normal.
Very interesting insight.
To convince people that you know and understand what are the challenges that they're dealing with. And he recommended me to meet this guy that is a tiny Yemen and wheelchair user that shouts out very loud. He's very funny with a lot of energies and all day moving around. that was Netanel, and he brought like another state of copywriting and philosophy of how should we consider people from different kinds of groups of challenges, what is the right wording, why there is a physical rehabilitation process and a mental rehabilitation process, and also what's the difference between people that were born with disability and people that gain it during life, which is also very different.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, I'd like to hear about that. Okay, later. Yeah, please continue.
And he really brought up a lot of questions that I didn't have experience in it. If we talked
like
about
that
I started Palta after a very short time from my injury, so that's not so normal because in other situations, people are still in their rehabilitation process, and I feel that was my rehabilitation.
Wow. This is a very, meaning it was a redeem for yourself as well, besides giving to the world. It's unbelievable. I mean, there was the fact that they were entangled and you understood it. So
yeah, the doing
was
what I needed in order to.
You needed to be active. You didn't. This is instead of mourning in your room, you said, I want to use this, the power of my grief to do something good. But so what kind of question did he have that were very unusual for you, that, surprised you? Because it seems that there was a kind of a surprise in the interaction between you, and he made you think about things that you never thought before. He was challenging you in a sense.
I'm a very direct person. If I want to know.
Good, I know that. I know. Okay.
If I want to get a certain answer, that's what I would ask, because that's what I want to know. And he told me, but you cannot do that. There are people that in their minds, they still don't understand what you understand about them.
Okay.
So
he was teaching you to be patient and to go to be capable.
It's not only about patience. So that's where we started talking about the mental rehabilitation process, that in some cases it never ends. Okay. Because the person is always expecting to be what he was or she was before, but sometimes it's not possible. And when I would ask someone that is both hands amputee, what's their challenge dressing up? And they would tell me, we don't have any challenge. I was a little bit confused. But in the view that he provided me, he said, a person is living without two arms for so long, so he doesn't see it anymore as a challenge. It's not the challenge, because for years, he or she developed this mindset of, okay, that's my way of dressing up. So there's no challenge.
Wow, but what you're saying is that as if there are two groups of people who are really going through rehabilitation, which really means accepting the new reality that they're living in. Okay, and
that's also very interesting, because the rehabilitation process in different countries looks differently. For example, in the US, you go out of very hard surgeries, and the first thing that they do is to bring you back to be active. You stand up.
Okay.
And in other countries, it could be slowly. It really depends if it's private or social, because if it's social, every day that you're there means, in terms of money, means less than if it's a private place, and every day that you're there, you're paying.
So they want to keep you there.
Yeah. And
how is it being done here at home in Israel for us? How is it being done?
So I feel that in Israel, it's much about, don't have to say you're a hero, but you've been through a process and now you're living to get back to what you've been before.
I see. Okay.
Or at least that's the message that I was receiving. Okay. And I felt that it's not true. Like, and I'm not expecting to be what I've been before. As everything we do in life, it's another stage. So we're always in progress.
It's unbelievable, you know, you were 25, but you got the wisdom of, of wise people, which are, you know, of wise people who went through. It's
that's why I recommend, first recommendations, take your kids to grow up abroad.
I've been living abroad, you know, there are other problems and it might be shattering more for your soul, you know. So, I've been living in the States, I've been living in Africa. So, you know, every place, and this is home. Well, but we won't talk about that. And in any case, you're here in Israel.
I'm not saying anything against Israel or for other countries, but it's important to grow in different cultures and to meet different
in this people. Sense. Okay. Okay. I thought because of the army.
That's what I mean.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it's because of the army, but you know, you can get injured.
No. You can get injured everywhere, and there's higher probability that you'll get injured in a party or driving abroad than
you're right. In
the army. So you've got me wrong on this one.
I'm sorry. I do apologize for that. Okay, but this is a discussion.
I'm just trying to say that it's good that your kids would see.
You're saying to learn. Yeah. I totally understand. Yeah. I totally agree. So then you made the decision. He said that he is going to join you. I mean, you made the decision to start together.
Yeah, so it also was funny because I contacted him and then it was through Facebook and he thought that it's like a pyramid plan.
What?
There's this pyramid business model that you bring one person and then
okay. I understand.
Another and whatever. And it was very funny because he thought that that's what I'm offering, and then he wrote me back, if it's a pyramid, so we shouldn't meet. And I said, no, it's something related to fashion and people with disabilities. And then he said, I'm a bit confused. I have nothing to do with fashion. Never learned anything about design, but let's meet. And I told him the story and I told him my vision and the idea behind Palta. And he said, that sounds good for me. I can totally understand what you're talking about. As a person that was born with disability, I'm already living it and I'm not in the rehabilitation process, but I definitely became like the person that knows already where to go to get that garment that fits, instead of the person that enters to a shop and says, okay, what I want to pick from here.
Interesting.
And that's point
then where you started.
That both people with disabilities that were born with them and that have got injured are dealing with. At the end, it's the situation that you're going with people that don't have challenges or any special requirements in clothes to shop. But when you enter the shop, there's a very small segment that you can buy from. And everyone else can just choose from everything. Okay.
And what do you want? What do you want that there will be? What is your dream?
So my dream was, if there are no partners and the companies don't really want to work with us, we will make a shop that is fully accessible and people from all kinds could come in and feel comfortable with what they wear and feel fashionable going out. And the next stage was to see if people really like the way that we design.
Okay.
There was an event, part of a movement that is called Fashion Revolution Israel.
What is it? I don't know about that.
It's a global organization that is mostly about sustainability. And they were very strongly related to the article about the H&M factory in Bangladesh that fall suddenly with a lot of people inside. I cannot remember the number, but I think it's more than 100 people that have died.
Wow.
And they were the ones that like, that was the reason that organization started moving forward so fast. And what they do is basically to care about the wage of people that work in the industry, and how much pollution each company is making in our world. Since the fashion industry is the second most polluted industry, that's the responsibility that they take. And I remember that the Israeli representation contacted us and said, we want you to be part of our fashion show, but not only part of our fashion show, you will be the last ones, like the needle at the back of the wardrobe, or I'm not sure how it's being said in English, such a sentence. And we set, me and ניתן, and we said, okay, what's our goal from that event? Because we kind of understand what clothes people expect from us. We know what line of vision, like what inspires us in clothes. But what would we want to present in such an event so it would make people change their mind or think differently? And we decided that our goal is that by the end of that runway, people will ask, what is there for people with disabilities? Wow. That the things would look so fashionable in general, that what people would question about is, why did we bring people with disabilities to show them?
Wow. Okay. Meaning,
so if you'd like, I will share with you the video. It was
yeah. Hold on, I'll give you an opportunity to share, of course. Just a second. Oh, just a second, of course. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Please, we'll be delighted.
I'm going to it.
Yeah.
So it will take me.
No, it's okay. ליאור, אנחנו מעלים סרט? ליאור? אוקיי, go. אוקיי, הוא מעלה סרט, כן, אנחנו מעלים סרט.
So, on the runway, the idea was that both people with and without disabilities will go on stage.
הוא כבר מעלה אותו. כן, הוא כבר מעלה אותו, כן. And yes, sorry.
That every time a person with disability would go on, and then a person without disability would wear the same thing.
Okay.
So that's the way that we presented the clothes.
Yeah.
And as I said, at the end, people came and asked us, but what's here for people with disabilities? Like, what you've done that is different.
So you also became a fashion designer on the way. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've been working with professional.
Okay. So it wasn't only you. Okay.
That it was also a very unique experience.
But you put, they brought the ideas, but you put on the layer of the specific needs.
Yeah, let's look at the.
Yeah, let's go. Put it on. Yeah, please.
And then we'll be able to talk about
it. Yeah, please.
You can see it, right?
Yeah, but it's not, can you, okay. Yeah. It's not moving though. Okay. It's not moving, the film is not. Amazing. How are the reactions?
So first of all, it's important to say that all this process designing these clothes, the models that you see, were part of the design process.
Wow. They look beautiful, the clothes. I wish I had them.
That's what many people there said. Even my sister, by the end of the show, she said, "I have a wedding next week, and I want the and I want the beige outfit."
Beautiful.
So the names of the garments are based on stories of different individuals from the people that I told you before that answered the questionnaires that we felt that were that shared very much of the feelings that they have and the challenges that they deal with, and really understand what's the influence of fashion on their life. And after this event, we made a small stack of production. The idea was to sell products similar as what we have presented in the show. The people that were part of it were, of course, family and friends, but also fashion designers and people from the fashion media that visited. And I felt that was a great opportunity to show the world that designing for people with disabilities doesn't mean that it cannot be fashionable and cool. And that's, I think, the point where people started knowing about us and started thinking about opportunities and collaborations that we could do together. And the next amazing experience or opportunity that we had is to be the official outfitters of the Israeli Paralympic team to Tokyo.
How did it happen? How did it happen? What happened?
The
What's the
representative of
story?
the athletes
Yeah.
saw our fashion show.
Okay.
And she knew us because the community of people with disabilities in Israel is not small, but we know each other. And she invited us to meet the Paralympic Committee because she felt that for the first time there's a company that understands production, but at the same time knows what are the needs of the athletes, which until then, the companies that were designing weren't really asking the athletes what they need, what are the requirements, what are the challenges. It was kind of we are the known brand, so we give you as an honor our clothes and you have to say thank you. We're not going to invest and get your knowledge in order to do clothes that better fit your needs. And we were the first ones that were offering it. But more than that, for us, it was a case study to show how we can make one unique, and that's I'm saying from words that others have said about it, because it's mine. So I, of course, think that it's unique, a unique collection that represents all the challenges of the people that were part of that delegation. But more than that, that the athletes were part of the design process. So I didn't make it to Tokyo, but we had 35 ambassadors that were able to share the story of what Palta is, same as if I would do it, because they were so involved in the process of the design that they were able to tell why the pants are made this way, and why the shirts are made this way, and why it works for the blind, and why it works for the amputee, and why it's more comfortable for a wheelchair user. And that was just amazing, because I felt the feedbacks from other athletes and designers of other companies that started contacting us and asking about our methodology. And that case study enables us today to offer our knowledge and the opportunity to collaborate and be more inclusive as fashion brands. At the end,
And yeah, in the end, what happened?
Our word in general, I feel, is able to go to two directions: the inclusive or the adaptive.
Can you elaborate on these two options? Can you? Because I'm not sure that. Yeah.
In the inclusive thinking or in the inclusive methodology says or means that you focus on a niche group or a smaller sector. You find the solutions for their need, and then from that point you expand.
Okay. Okay.
And adaptive means, okay, I have brown eyes and you have blue eyes. So for the blue eyes, you will make glasses that fit blue eyes. And for the brown eyes, you will make glasses that fit brown eyes, because then you will be able to sell two different pieces.
I see.
That's the biggest difference between the two. Now, in the fashion world, adaptive clothing means that there's a different section in the shop, there's a different page on the website, and that probably no one that is not in the community of people with disabilities will ever buy these products.
I see. Okay.
Inclusive design means that every product that we develop for a company or with a company would go on their website, and if you have a disability, so it would work for you. And if you don't have a disability, it would also work for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because
so we are adding more technology and opportunities for everyone. So we are.
I'm saying it looks much more comfortable. I would use them. I mean, and can I ask you one question? Okay, but please, I want to understand. So what is the next stage and where you want there? Because we have like 10 minutes. So I want to, and I have a few more questions. So where do you want the company to be? And what happened? Because then you gave up on your dream to have a brand and you started working with that. What happened then?
So after the Paralympic delegation outfits,
yeah.
We felt that the experience of production and the marketing to promote why these specific products are better than others and all the manufacturing process, that's not our forte. And that's not what we're stronger in. It's going to be very hard and require a lot of money on the marketing side to be able to offer enough designs to apply to the request of all our community members. And also we did a reflection and thought about ourselves and said, we don't want to go into a shop that is Zara only for people with disabilities. We want Zara to be inclusive for people with disabilities. We want H&M to be inclusive for people with disabilities, Adidas, Nike, and so on. And that's where we did that pivot to become more as a consultancy or the professional certifier of inclusive fashion design. We've created our certificate, which is a social proof backed by our community of individuals and organizations that represent all kinds of disabilities worldwide. And what we do today is to classify products of different brands. So that means existing products, to create together with them new designs that are an option for a wider range of individuals. So that means a bigger opportunity to generate revenue. And the third is to certify. So they would receive our social proof on their garments, on their websites, and then easier it will be for people with disabilities, their families and friends to shop from that same brand. And also when they believe and feel that the brand has a strong agenda, we can see it in all sectors today. Even people that don't have any personal relation to to the problem are really interested to join and support a brand that has a cause, that has a meaning, that has strong values, and they want to be part of it. They want to be part of a community of people that are doing good, if it's for the planet or if it's for the other people that are living around us. So that's what we offer today. Basically, it's a dashboard that the company on one side can see all the different stats and how inclusive they are, what are the reviews of the clients, how successful are the products that they have tagged doing in comparison to the others, and also receive a lot of tips for the design team to be better from collection to collection. And we're working a lot with technological partners to develop new types of textiles.
Unbelievable.
All based, of course, on the daily needs of our community. Again, translating it into the needs of everyone. So I would give just one specific example.
Yes, of course.
We're working on a fabric that originally the request for it came from people with diabetes to know when there's humidity and pressure. So three things would bring you to have a bed sore. It's humidity, pressure, and temperature. When these three exist, you are potentially able to experience a bed sore. And that's something that is really hard for people that are living with diabetes, that can result amputation or in worst cases death. And we started focusing on a solution for that with a pigment of textile that changes color based on the temperature and humidity in the fabric. So you can notice, like for example, in your socks or at the bottom of your pants, that it is changing color. So that means that you need to change position or to walk. And that was interesting. We've started a chemical process.
Yeah.
And having conversations with people from the community, wheelchair users started saying, oh, that's great for us as well. And then parents of kids that are on the autistic spectrum asked us to also provide them with such a solution. And caregivers of elders started saying, oh, this man that I work with, he's not talking anymore. And I cannot really know if it's hot or cold for him. That could help me. And I feel that that's, closing up all this circle of the product.
Unbelievable.
I had a conversation with doctors because at the end we're doing something that is on the edge of fashion and health tech. Wow. And he told me, do you know that kids today in the hospital are being tested for heat a few times a day? And if we'd be able to do it as part of a hat you put on and changes color based on their temperature, we would save a lot of time and that bad experience that the kids go through. And that's where I got another stamp that what we're doing is not only for people with disabilities. When you design for disabilities, the result is a better living and experience for everyone.
Can you give another example? I mean, can you share another example, or it's too much?
For example, in the fashion show that I presented, we were presenting clothes that at the end, that's the product, but we always have in mind what's my experience to the product.
Okay.
Because if there would be clothes that fit me, but I'm not able to enter to the shop or to buy on your website, it doesn't make any sense that you would invest money in designing clothes for me because I won't be able to reach them.
Yeah.
And the biggest group that is suffering from dependence is the blind and visually impaired individuals that online are feeling like they're thrown into the ocean.
Yeah.
And offline, they're not really independent because the shop is not designed for it. Today, companies think how they put more in less meters. And what we've been working on were tags that are smarter than what we have today. We understand that there's a lot of information that by law the brand needs to put on the garments. But there's so many types of people that we've been interviewing and questioned about what bothers them in clothes. And we're talking about the tags. If it's the label tags, if it's the information tags that are on the left side of our shirts normally. And we took all the important information out of it and translated it into a digital tag.
Wow.
So the way that it's implemented is a QR code on the garment.
Okay.
That is printed in a different layer than the rest of the fabric. So when you put your hand over it, you feel it like you would feel braille.
Okay.
You put your phone in front of it because I don't know if you know, but today the best friend of the blind people besides the guide dog is the iPhone.
No, I didn't know that.
And Apple have made a great work related to accessibility. Okay. So most of the blind people that I know use Apple iPhone, and that's their guide for all different types of things. They have a voiceover system that is very good to guide. And at the moment that they will put the phone in front of the QR code, it will tell them the information that we expect to receive in a shop. If it's the size, what other color it exists in, and the price.
Wow.
But when they get home, what it would offer or share with you is, again, what's the color? In some cases, blind people live together, so it would be.
I don't hear you.
Here?
Okay, now I hear you. It's okay. Yeah.
So the other situation would be that at home, they would know what garment it is and the product care, how to wash it, what temperature.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. Very interesting. We have
that's
to
provided all the information just in one thing instead of a lot of papers that we carry on all day.
Yeah. I'm sorry, we have to finish. So I have only for this time, but we are going to check on you on like in a year from now. Let's see where you are. But the last question I wanted, and we discussed it yesterday, but I thought, I think whenever you say people with disabilities, I must say that something in my heart is shrinking because, Edie Weiner, one of my teachers, one of my biggest, my most important teachers, one of them, she says that, if you take all the people who, suffer from depression or anxiety or, heartbreak or had to give up on their teeth, and to put replacement for the original teeth, we are all different. I mean, we are all, something is missing. I mean, it's and whenever you say people with disabilities, as if we're in a sense, we are not only diminishing them. In my sense, we're diminishing our humanity and taking we're tearing a part of our souls. So, and I think language is very important because language creates reality and perception and context. Why aren't we coming up with a better world that define the fact that there is more the things that mutual to us are stronger and greater than what sets up apart, even if we're talking about our physical abilities, I would say. What do you think about that?
To be honest, I'm a very practical person, so my response will be also also practical. And
okay.
In our agenda, both me and Nathaniel, we have said that we would call people in their names. And if it's a group, we would call it as we see that group. And until someone would say that he feels or she feels uncomfortable with the way that we call them, that's the point that we will change the way that we call them, because no one has the right to define what's the word to call a specific group. Only that group is able to call itself that way. And you could look in old days, when there were the Vikings and the Ottomans, they were the ones that would call themselves that way. And even that history is written by the ones who won, the name wouldn't change. The Vikings are still the Vikings, even though they don't exist anymore. We could have changed their name to be Swedish because they're not an empire anymore. And the group itself is who defines how it will be called. So there are some people that are more politically correct and like to call it people with disabilities, and others that want to call it people with additional needs, and others that want to call it the owners of their disability or handicapped or disabled. And also in Spanish, you have two meanings, because to be disabled is harsh. So they say discapacitated, if I'm translating it right. And I can say that we are into the actions and not into the talking.
It's okay. I will say, for me, I'm very sensitive to it.
If people would continue, focusing on, there are some people that I guess that's their job to focus on wording and how to call different groups in our society, but we're focused on doing and changing lives and not changing the words. And changing lives is by doing actions and creating new things that
no, I'm just saying,
meaningful for the daily life.
Yeah, no,
of course, the words in different languages have a lot of influence on our situation in society, but we want to move on to have as many partners as possible. And it was a mutual dream of me and Nathaniel to enter to a shop and that both of us would be able to buy from all the products, but now I would have to be the only one to make up that dream and to update him that it was possible, and I found garments that could have fit him as well.
That's wonderful. If people want to contact you, how can they do that?
We have our website that is called Palta Clothes, and on the social media, we're called Palta We Are. These are the ways, and if they really want to contact me, so they could find my contact information on both.
Okay, we can put it also in the show notes of the podcast. Yeah. So can we make a decision to meet next year, the same time, same place, different clothes, to see where you are?
I would probably be on an island somewhere.
Well,
on winter, I like to go.
But still, we have the ability to connect now.
An island with internet.
Yeah, exactly. I want to thank you. I think it was an incredibly inspiring conversation. I know you don't like to think about it, but I really think you're a hero and a source of inspiration for me, at least. So I want to thank you for sharing all this story and what you're doing, and to thank you on behalf of all of us, that what you're doing for all of us is very important.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And
have a great and shiny weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Looking forward to seeing you again. Bye. Okay, ליאור, אנחנו מסיימים? ליאור?
כן.
אתה סוגר?
שמת אותי במיוט, אז אני לא יודע מה אמר.
בוא נסגור, אנחנו נפרדים.
סבבה.
Thank you.